Hey, and welcome into another episode of Championship Wrestling. This is going to be episode 1, our week 1 episode, and let's get things rolling. Alright, as the intro for Championship Wrestling kind of fades out, it's followed by a wide panning shot, and we're in a large open air tennis stadium in January, I know. In the center, we have the CWA ring and all the logos, and the fans are hyped and ready to go for the night. Davis Dideric's voice welcomes us to the broadcast. We are live from Montreal, Quebec at the historic IGA Stadium, and while this tennis venue is used to hosting tennis matchups, we've got our own Winter Classic here tonight as we ring in the new year outdoors on this chilly but luckily beautiful day, given the time of year. He proceeds to ask Tom Townsend, how is this cold air and wind going to affect the athletes tonight? As he kind of goes his spiel, we get cuts of the crowd and different fans holding up signs and cheering and all that. And Adrian Garcia has heard enough. He cuts Tom off right in the middle of his sentence. You guys keep talking about the cold, but I think things are heating up. We're about to bask in the presence of the most dominant group of men in wrestling today. And right on cue, the Elite's music hits and the 5 men walk out of the tunnel and they're lavishing in the rain of boos from the crowd. As they're going to take their time walking, they're soaking it up, but Garcia can't help but go on. I mean, I don't know how you guys can't respect them. You have an all-time legendary tag team in the Dynamite Express, the strength of Blockbuster, the brains of Drake Young, and of course, it starts and ends with Christian Price, the greatest CWA champion of all time. Hell, he may be the greatest champion in Canadian history. Townsend rolls his eyes as the camera turns back to the ring. He's obviously annoyed. Christian Price grabs the microphone from the ring announcer, and as he leaves, he's going to start to talk. A little intro segment. He's going to get a 64. In a little less than 2 weeks, Price says, he's going to make his next in a long line of defenses against Sean McFly. The time for talk is almost over, but I love to talk, so I'm going to do it anyway. He's laughing like he just told the funniest joke in history, but the boos get even louder, and he starts to get a little annoyed. If you all can't respect your champion enough to shut the hell up when he's talking, then I'll just have someone else do the talking for me. And he shoves the microphone into Drake Young's chest, and he kind of fumbles it. He can't grab it right away. But as soon as he moves it up to his mouth to start talking, the boos from the crowd get even louder, and he has to basically yell anything he's going to say from this point on. Sean McFly, Thunder and Lightning, anyone who wants a piece of what we got can step up and get slapped down because we are the best, we are the standard, we are the elite. They're going to head out, and Davis is going to let us know as they're leaving that tonight we have an excellent main event in store as Lee Thrill Seeker Rivera goes one-on-one with A-Game Aaron Knight. But first, let's start off with some tag team action. Segment gets a 67. Alright. In a decent match, the Griffin family defeated the Montreal Mafia in 12:03 when Mark Griffin pinned Mark Raisin with a rocket launcher. The match is going to start. Momentum's going back and forth. Everybody's getting their moves in. Robbie's going to get crotched as he goes to the top rope, trying to hit some top rope maneuver by Ayers. And he's going to get the he gets beat down. Typical tag team match we've seen all our lives. But he gets the hot tag to Mark. He's going to hit both the guys, back body drops, clotheslines, typical power moves. And finally catches Raisin with a power slam. He stumbles onto his feet and hits him with the rocket launcher. Alright, segment got a 69. Looks like both of them got tag team specialist bonus, which is awesome. Color commentary gave us a boost, and the match got the crowd hotter. All good stuff. In an extremely short match, Brooke Tyler defeated Natalie DeMarco in 4:32 by submission with a Brooke breaker. Tyler's just going to kind of toy with DeMarco for a bit, reverse everything DeMarco can throw at her, and just kind of doing the typical heel, stretching her out, rest holds, all that stuff, controlling her. DeMarco at some point she's going to get a cradle, gets the Gets the 2 count. You know, goes back up. You think she's going to get the hope spot, but Tyler's just going to... She shuts it down and locks on the Brooke breaker. She's tired of playing games. Match is over. It's a 57. Again, the announcing and the color commentary both giving us a positive, and of course Brooke Tyler stood out as being good because she's Brooke Tyler. Alright. It's going to cut from the, Tyler celebrating in the ring. We got a pre-tape promo from Lauren Easter. Perfect timing, I know. She goes on and on about Tyler and her countless battles. They've been wrestling for almost a decade in the mainstream. But, as far as she's concerned, there's only 2 matches that matter, and they're the 2 they've had in CWA. And if her memory serves her correctly, we're 1-1. She goes on, says eventually Tyler and her are going to cross paths. And when we do meet in that squared circle, she says, I'll show the world why you may be the franchise player, but I'm still the boss. Lauren Easter improvised well throughout the segment. Again, with the collar commentary, love that. Segment got a 65. Ooh, nice. We got Samuel Curran backstage in the kind of babyface locker room, specifically at Jack and Ricky the Colts, and they're chatting with Strong, Skip Bo, Dante Dunn, and Sonny Wildside. Curran goes, we were told you guys had a joint announcement to make. The floor is yours. Jack goes on a long rant about, him and Ricky have been teaming forever, that they haven't had singles success since before CWA was even a thing. And that's why next Saturday, Ricky and I will both be entering the Total Elimination match. Curran presses himself, presses about every man and for himself nature of the match, and how are they going to get along, and can they coexist in a free-for-all. In the locker room, they all agree there's going to be no hard feelings, it's competitive spirit, all that fun stuff. And Skip-Bo has the hot catchphrase, and he ends it by saying it's going to be a bona-fide classic. Segment gets an 81, by far our best segment of the night so far. In a decent match, Mr. Impact defeated Omar Brown in 12:51 by pinfall with a crying game. Mr. Impact makes defense number 16 of the CWA television title. Mr. Impact, he's clearly going to be at the strength and aggression disadvantage. So he does the typical slides out, taunts on the outside, close to the crowd, all that fun stuff. And eventually, when Brown gets annoyed, he does the typical thing again we've seen over and over, where runs around, chases him on the outside, but Impact slides back in to beat the count. Brown's going to do the same, and of course he's going to strike. Take cheap shots at him, kind of just keep cutting him down. But yeah, he's basically going to keep just kind of cheating, and not necessarily outright cheating, but using nefarious tactics throughout. And he's going to catch him, with a crying game and beat him for the 1-2-3. Alright, another really good segment. 80 from Cam Bessie. He's kind of stood in the ring, and he's not going to waste any time. He calls out Aaron Knight. But he wonders something. He wonders, can Aaron Knight be a top guy? Can he represent the company? Can he go toe-to-toe with the best every night? Can he command the locker room's respect after he's being a doormat longer than Cameron Bessie's been irrelevant? He's wondering, does he have any credibility? But it doesn't matter. I may not be sure of the answer to those questions, but I do have an answer to these. Can you match my skill in the ring or on the mic? No. Can you survive what I'll put you through to take my place at the top? No. And will I stop at nothing to get my championship back, even if it means I have to stomp out, piss ant, flash in the pans, just like you? Yes. He improvised well throughout the segment. Again, we got an 80. Right. In a bout that had decent wrestling reaction from the crowd, but subpar wrestling, Gen Z defeated the brothers Kane in 7:57 when Flip Simkins pinned Eli Kane with a fast roll-up. Flip's going to come out hot, but, he's no match for the strength and size of the brothers Kane. He's going to get isolated for a few minutes, but then gets the hot tag to Winters. He's going to take Eli down for a while, but eventually, again, Eli's strength's going to prove too much to handle. He kind of whips Simkins into the rope, whips Winters into the rope, and Simkins makes the blind tag. Eli doesn't see it. Winters slides away from Eli Kane after the Irish whip, and Simkins was there to hit him with the schoolboy roll-up and the surprise roll-up, and we all know that's going to win most of the time because that's how wrestling works. Match got a 52, not too bad. Again, the announcing and the commentary. And Haley Hunter did good work at ringside. Alright. In a decent match, Eric Strong defeated Robin DeLay in 8:15 by pinfall with the strong salts. Again, it's a kind of even match, and obviously Strong's more experienced. He's got, a wider arsenal of moves. He's seen more. He's faster, but DeLay's got the strength and aggression, kind of like the matchup again with Impact and Omar Brown. But it's just one of those things where eventually the experience pays off, and gets him with the strong salt. Big old moonsault from the top, takes him out, and the veteran lives to fight another day. Got a 67. Right. We got good old-fashioned promo train. Mountie Man. He's gonna, he's entering, he's getting his usual boos, making fun of people from Montreal, saying they're the biggest slobs in Canada, they're a disgrace to the country. Makes fun of the local sports teams, yada, yada, yada. But not only is he going to enter the total elimination match, he's going to win and bring respect back to the company. Of course, David Stone, he comes out, says that, Mountie Man, you're the one that needs to learn respect. He can teach it to him too. But he gets cut off then by Mark Dubois. And, he's normally a bad guy, but he's going to get met with cheers tonight because he's in his hometown, and he kind of soaks it up for a minute. I don't care for any Stones, he says, especially you, David, but you're right about one thing, a man does need to be taught respect, and maybe a history lesson, too. He lists some of the accomplishments from the greatest wrestlers from, Montreal and Quebec, and gets a cheap pop when he mentions the hockey team. But then he's cut off again by one Princeton Price. He's going to run them all down because he's kind of a, he's good on the mic, and Stone has no personality. Mountie Man's a has-been. Dubois is an asshole, and even the people in his hometown know it. But it doesn't come to a brawl. It all ends when all the men agree that they're just going to settle this in the match, and they all better watch out. And again, a pretty good segment. It got a 67. Mountie Man, Dubois, and Princeton Price all enjoyed the freedom of going off script. They performed well. Again, that announcing quality and the color commentary, I think that's going to help us out a lot through this series. Alright. And about that, a decent reaction from the crowd, but subpar wrestling. It seems to be a theme. Jessica Conroy and Deborah Young defeated Amber Allen and Zoe Amos in 7:36 when Jessica Conroy pinned Amos while using the ropes for leverage. In terms of ring work, Amber Allen was head and shoulders above everybody else. So I know it says that Jessica Conroy pinned Zoe Amos using ropes for leverage, but I don't believe that was the note I remembered putting in, but obviously I'm wrong. But kind of the headcanon is that, Allen and Amos have it in hand. Allen's basically single-handedly whooping, the two members of the Queen Court. And, she tags in Amos, who does well herself. She's doing really well, but unfortunately, Conroy distracts the ref on the outside at one point, typical heel stuff, and Nadia Snow runs out and, chops Amber Allen down off the ring apron, just kind of throws her into the ring steps, all that stuff, and gets away. And as soon as Snow's out of view, Conroy stops distracting the ref. But by this time, Amos is obviously trying to see what's going on, and Young is back up now, and Young's in the ring, hits her with a big old powerbomb, and then tags in Jessica Conroy and gets the win after hitting, splash, something like that, some sort of double team maneuver or back-to-back finishers. Segment got a 59. I'm just going to have to stop saying stuff about the announcing quality and the color commentary because I have a feeling it's going to show up more times than not. Yeah, Amber Allen did really well in that match, and Zoe Amos wasn't bad either. It's really Jessica Conroy was kind of the one we were kind of the weak link. Right, another good segment. In this one, we're in Steve DeColt's office, and George Wolfe and Diablo Duvac are in there, and they're begging to find out what are their slots going to be in the total elimination match. Like, what number are they entering? DeColt tells them, he can't tell anybody ahead of time. Half the fun is the surprise. He's your typical carny promoter and evil CEO. He's just wants the eyes on there. He wants the views. He wants the dollars. So Duvac and Wolf are frustrated, and they kind of start bickering and shoving each other. DeColt tells them, next week you can get your frustrations out in a match, warm up, whatever. Just get the hell out of his office. The two walk out, still bickering, but, not necessarily quite fighting. And as they're walking out, we see Shooter Sean Dealey entering DeColt's office. Segment got a 77. Steve DeColt was fantastic, not surprised. Diablo Duvac underperformed, unfortunately. And Steve DeColt did a masterful job improvising, and even though Diablo Duvac underperformed, he worked the crowd well and used the freedom to improvise to his advantage. So maybe just a bad luck on that time. Right. And then we got our last little angle for the night, and Samuel Curran and Sean McFly are backstage. Curran introduces McFly, and McFly, he kind of looks unsettled. He's been in this business for 27 years. He's seen the next big thing come and go a few dozen times over, maybe at this point. He's still here. Maybe his best days are behind him, and honestly, they probably are. But he's still here. But why? He's paid his dues. He's put the work. He spent the long nights on the road, the early mornings at the gym, the months away from home. But anyone worth half a damn in this business has. So why him? Why is he still here? And he's not sure he knows why. But Christian Price, he says, I am still here. That's bad news for you. I want that title. I can't in good conscience turn my back and walk away with a sniveling coward on the top of the industry I helped build here in Canada. Maybe I am past my prime, and maybe I need to hang it up. Well, if you want to hold on to that title, you'll have to retire me yourself. Not a great segment. I know we kind of hyped it up with the drama in there, but didn't really perform well. 54. Sean McFly was fantastic, though, but Curran underperformed. Right, now we're going to go into the main event. Ooh, alright, not bad. In a superb match, Aaron Knight defeated Lee Rivera in 16:22 by pinfall with a nightfall. Rivera knows entering this, he can kind of relaunch his entire career with one win tonight, and he comes out of it hot. Knight, typically he's, the better wrestler. He gets some offense in, but Rivera's still just quick enough, even in his age, to dodge some of the big bombs. He doesn't get any of the big moves in. Eventually, he chops Knight, chop blocks him, and he's going to start working the leg for the rest of the match. Rivera, he goes up to the top at one point, he goes for one of his corkscrew moonsaults and just gets speared out of the air when he turns, rotates around by Knight. But Knight can't capitalize because his knee's messed up. The ref starts counting 1, 2, gets to a 6 count. Knight starts to get up, and him and Rivera just start trading strikes. And Knight's going to get the better hand as the bigger and badder dude, and lifts Rivera up for the powerbomb, but leg gives out. It's just messed up at this point. He tries again, and with all his might, he gets him up, but Rivera, at this point, has enough sense to whip himself backwards and nail a Hurricane Rana, and he hooks the legs, but of course Knight kicks out right at 2.9. Rivera's frustrated, has the shocked kick out face that we all know. He boots Knight in the face. He's kind of toying with him and hits him with a stiff roundhouse kick to the face. And Knight's, out on his knees basically. He's kneeling there. He's propped up, but he's lights aren't on. Nobody's home. Rivera, he's gonna go to the corner, and he looks like he's gonna run in for a mean shining wizard and just nail Knight in the face. But right before he makes impact, Knight drops down forwards, and then Rivera goes crashing to the floor, and Knight kips up. The crowd's going crazy at this point. He runs over, hits a backdrop senton onto Rivera, and he's still favoring his knee though, so gives Rivera just enough time to get up, but it doesn't matter. They get into a striking battle this time, and you're not going to win with Aaron Knight. He's just bigger and meaner. He hits that rolling back elbow. He's taunting Rivera as he's on the ground, as the typical, wake up spot, and hits a nightfall, and gets the victory in tonight's main event. And we got a 79. Aaron Knight had an 86. Lee Rivera had a 59. Not great, but good enough. Lee Rivera and Jenny Playmate have pretty good chemistry. Not surprising since they're dating in the Cverse. And we're gonna go off air tonight with Cameron Vesey, shown backstage. He is watching the match on TV, and the show fades to black. All right. See our final score. Got a 76 overall, so it didn't result in any popularity changes. So a little disappointing, but not too bad since we're just working with the storylines mostly that were given to us to begin with. It's our first episode. Kind of want to book this up to feel some stuff out, see how people would perform, and kind of set the tone for some of the storylines we were going to have going on. And we definitely did that. So maybe next time try to book maybe a more solid main event. Or maybe try to get a similar main event and just make sure there's another match of equal quality on the card. Kind of went a little light. Lots of our big people are in promos this week, and a lot of them are also facing off against, quite frankly, lesser opponents. So, hope you guys enjoyed that, and we will see you for week 2, January, of Cverse, TEW 2020, playing CWA, and that'll be our go-home show for Total Elimination, which, don't forget, is going to be like a Royal Rumble style match for the main event, and the winner gets a title shot at Clash Classic. Alright, see you next time.